Hi, I'm Burney.
And I'm Ava Burns.
And welcome to Fresh Off the Burner, a series where Ava and I talk about relevant things happening around campus.
Today we are going to review Romeo and Juliet, performed in the Troutt Theater and directed by Tracy Ledford.
I loved this play.
It was so good.
It was so good. And I feel like very similarly, we go to a lot of these productions just because we're at Belmont and obviously they're going to be good. But I think this is the best one that I've ever been to in my 4 years here.
I truly don't think anything else has compared to Romeo and Juliet. It was so beautifully done. Everything was so well organized. Despite it being in Shakespearean speech, you could understand everything that was happening in the play.
No, that is something that I went with 4 girls, and that is something every single one of us walked out of there saying, is that because of their acting and emotions and the way that they just use their body and their ability to say these crazy old lines that I've read 100 times. Everybody's read it 100 times and has no clue what it's saying. And the fact that they were able to take that and make it so understandable and digestible, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like it was like a cheat code. I was so impressed.
Also, having it being set in the 1940s was so interesting. I thought that was it was a really cool director's concept that Tracy had, and it made sense for the show too. I was like, it didn't feel out of pocket or anything like that. All of the costumes read really well with the time period, all of the music was really good for the time period, and it still made sense with the show.
Completely agreed. There was little elements they brought in, with costuming and with set design.
Yeah.
Even the bedspread on Juliet's bed and the desk of the friar and things like that, where you're like, okay, this is obviously not set in Shakespearean time,
right?
But it's still said in that Shakespearean way. It was just so impressive the way that it was able to be digestible and consumable to someone in the modern era without changing the original words that are being said.
Yes.
Okay, but let's talk about the clock.
Oh my God.
So impressive. It's huge.
It was ginormous.
Literally.
And so many people in the shop, students and staff, were working on that clock to the minute. The lighting on the clock had to be perfectly done.
The lighting in general and the entire production was really impressive.
That lighting designer did a fantastic job.
Fantastic. The way that they used spotlights helped a ton because it's not a huge stage in actuality in the Troutt Theater. So it could have felt claustrophobic up there when they had all that set. But using the spotlight, it was you're in the show. It was so well done. The changes that they made to modernize it were also used in a good way. The fact that there was girls who were playing characters like Mercutio, who formerly were men, I thought was a great use of a modernized element. I feel like the changes that were made added to the show as opposed to taking it away just for the sake of making changes.
Exactly.
I really appreciated it. And something that I have to give so much praise to for Mercutio and for the nurse is that they both had long monologues. Their flowery way that they would say things was so perfect, and it felt the long-winded way that it was supposed to. And they're supporting characters, but they took over the stage whenever they were on stage.
Yes. No, Catherine Moore, who plays Mercutio, truly took my breath away. She was hysterical, mind you. All of her monologues and just the way how she uses her body to tell a story as well. I could go on, but she was absolutely amazing to watch, and she's definitely one of my favorite performers from the whole show. And then Daniela Flom, who was the nurse, just did a wonderful job at being articulate and but really being her character. She had moments of her being scandalous. She had moments of her being motherly. It was just so beautiful to watch both of them perform.
Off of her being motherly too, it brings me to think about there were times throughout the play that the cast did a great job reminding you how young Romeo and Juliet were, making themselves the innocent young characters that they're supposed to be, and you felt that youth.
Cameron Dacre, who plays Romeo, truly is one of the best actors that I've seen at Belmont in a really long time. Just seeing the way how, again, his physicality, how he articulates every single emotion, and he was funny. To be quite honest, in every other production that I've seen of Romeo and Juliet, I hate Romeo. I think that he's a whiny baby. This production specifically, I I sympathized with Romeo. I felt a connection, and it was just like, it was beautiful to see that this character that I normally really do not enjoy watching, like, he was so enticing to watch.
Even at the beginning, whenever he is the most annoying version of himself, he's like,
Yes.
and you're like, dude, stop talking. He still was like likable. And I think the way too that the costume designer had, Montague's wearing those warm tones and Capulet's wearing the cool tones, and then Romeo eventually being like at the wedding wearing just white and black is so also powerful to show that. And I don't know if they did this on purpose, but I'm assuming that they did, to show that he's like the one that's like actually the mediator there. Like he actually wants people to calm down.
And I think another thing too that they did really, really well at was stage combat. I thought, especially when it was a one-on-one thing, like when it was Romeo in Paris or Romeo and Tybalt, I was genuinely scared at one point that like these people were going to get hurt.
Especially because at one point Romeo has a crowbar.
Yes.
He has a crowbar and he throws it over Paris's head, and you're like, oh my gosh, somebody's gonna get hurt. They did it so well.
It was so beautifully orchestrated as well. It just felt like an artistic performance almost.
There were multiple moments throughout the play that I felt like I had to like take myself out of it because I was so engrossed in the story because of those fight scenes or the staging. Specifically thinking about when they find Juliet, quote unquote, dead in her bed. And the way that they all like were positioned on the way up to her bed. And eventually I kept having to like take myself out to like see it for how great the blocking was and how everything's intentional. People aren't just getting up on that stage and doing whatever. And the, once again, intentionality behind every person in every place to make it look so good. It looked so good. I literally will never be able to get over it.
Can we talk about the dance sequence?
Yes.
I think that was my favorite part of the whole show.
It was so fun to watch them all dance and have fun and da-da-da. And then to have it stop with the lighting. You know what else played such a big part? The use of modern music. That was a really incredible choice. Same thing with sound effects. There were like crickets whenever it was night out, and there was birds whenever it was day. And those sound effects, the music, the lighting helped make you feel like you weren't just watching a play.
Whoever the choreographer was did a wonderful job of incorporating 1940s style dances into like a traditional waltz. I thought that was so beautiful to watch. And then when Romeo and Juliet look at each other for the first time in that scene, and then everybody around them stops, the lights go on them, then they literally can't tear their eyes away from each other the rest of the time that they're waltzing, and the music swells when they start dancing. So amazing to watch. I would go back and see that show 100 times over just so I can watch that scene.
And if all of our blabberings did not convince you to see it, then I do not know what will.
You can see it next weekend starting on Thursday, October 2nd, all the way through Saturday, October 4th. The last show is going to be a 7:30 show on the 4th.
Thank you so much for joining us on Fresh Off the Burner.
Bye!